Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is a path toward inner strength and harmony with the unchanging nature of the universe. Stoics did not reject questions of fate or divination, but they approached them with profound wisdom. For them, these practices were not a means to avoid what is predestined, but a way to gain a clearer understanding of the grand order of existence. Divination is not meant for those who seek easy solutions or run from difficulties. It is for those who strive to know the truth and, having learned it, face their path with courage. The Stoic concept of fate and providence. For the Stoics, fate is not chaos but the embodiment of divine reason, logos, which governs all events. Every moment of our existence is inscribed in the eternal and unchanging order of things. Fate, in Stoicism, is not a chain or an external force controlling us. It is part of our inner being, our natural place in the universe. As Chrysippus wrote, everything that happens was destined to happen, as it is linked by a chain of causes. Thus, to question how to avoid fate is like trying to swim upstream in an endless river. Divination, in this light, is not a means to escape one's destiny, but a way to glimpse that divine plan, which has already been set in motion. It is a way to understand the inevitable, so one can accept it with clear reason and a calm heart. The Stoic sage does not fear what divination reveals, because his goal is not to avoid fate, but to meet it with dignity. Divination and proper action. In Stoicism, one of the most important principles is kathekon, proper action. This refers to actions that are in accordance with nature, logos, and reason. Divination helps an individual understand what proper action might be in a particular situation. Yet it is essential to remember, knowledge of the future does not grant the right to alter fate. Instead of trying to escape what has been predicted, the Stoic learns to prepare, strengthening their spirit and following reason. For the Stoics, the main issue is not what will happen, but how a person responds to it. Knowing what lies ahead, the sage does not give in to fear or lose composure. He remains steadfast, loyal to his principles, because he understands that every life event is merely a test on the path to virtue. The sage and divination. The Stoic sage lives in harmony with logos. For him, divination is not a mystical ritual, but simply another way to better comprehend eternal truth. Fate, for the sage, is not an enemy or a force to be battled, but a companion that guides and teaches. He knows that life is not a series of random events, but a grand design, in which he has been given a specific role. And this role is not a burden, but an opportunity to display virtue. When the sage turns to divination, he does so not to change his fate, but to reinforce his understanding of it. This knowledge gives him even greater confidence that everything happens as it should. The sage knows that each challenge is merely a lesson, and that true virtue is not in avoiding trials, but in facing them with dignity. In this sense, divination is a reminder that the future is inevitable and predetermined, and meeting it is an opportunity to demonstrate greatness. Ethical aspects of divination. However, not everyone who turns to divination does so with the right intent. Seneca warned that many people use divination out of fear of the future, trying to avoid the inevitable. Such people forget the central Stoic principle, to accept everything with equanimity and courage. Divination should never become a tool for manipulation or attempts to evade difficulties. It is a mirror of fate, and when the Stoic looks into this mirror, he sees not threats, but challenges that will help him become better. Divination should be viewed as part of the great order of things, given to humanity so that we might better prepare for our destiny, not change it. The person who lives in accordance with nature accepts divination as an opportunity to reaffirm their belief in logos and to show resilience in the face of trials. Conclusion. Ultimately, for the Stoics, divination was part of their philosophy of acceptance and inner strength. It was not a way to avoid fate, but a chance to look into it without blinking and understand that every moment is an opportunity to demonstrate virtue. The true Stoic does not fear what lies ahead, for he knows that everything is predestined, and his task is not to alter his fate but to meet it honorably. Fate, for the Stoic, is not a coincidence but the embodiment of logos. Divination is yet another tool to better understand this grand order, but not to avoid it. For wisdom is not in escaping trials, but in meeting everything that fate has in store with virtue and steadfastness.